Hello, you guys. Welcome back, Capricorn. So, today's reading, we're going to see what is the next big change in your love life. So, what is the next big change in Capricorn's love life? What are the messages they need to hear? Wow, we have the Page of Wands starting out. Celebration. We have the Five of Wands coming in reverse. I like that. I like that the Nine of Swords is coming in reverse. Page of Cups is coming in reverse. Why so many reversals? We have here the Eight of Swords coming in reverse and the Empress card coming in reverse. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we have here the Four of Wands, which is technically coming in reverse. It's just the way I'm holding it. I'm holding it weird. But anyways, this came in reverse as well. So I feel like the overall message was there was some sort of situation, some sort of love that you thought was going to work out. Career, person, doesn't matter. The subject matter is love. You'll relate to which one it is. This love was just not working out for you. It kept you in prison, it kept you trapped. There was conflict, there was destruction, there was these fights. When it was good, it was great. When it was bad, it was intense. As much as there was just in and out and hot and cold, it just wasn't working out. There was a lot of sabotage energy, there was a lot of sleepless nights. There was just trying to birth something and it just wasn't working out, you know? And I feel like this energy is moving away, or at least you're working on moving this away so that you can have more excitement, that you can have what is it you want. Now, with this being the page, pages are kind of like that. I would say like the childlike energy, that beginning stage, not much, but it's still something. So I do feel like this is very fresh and very new, this stage that you're heading towards, but it's for the betterment. See here, we have here the abandonment card coming through. Now, for me, that one rose represents that unconditional love. And I feel like someone was trying to give all of their love, all of their time, all of them to a situation, to a person, to a career, and it just wasn't working out. At the end of the day, they always ended up feeling left out in the cold, feeling abandoned, feeling as if everything they gave was just not enough. We have here fresh start, and yes, I am so happy you're having a fresh start. Like, look at the huge contrast. If we just want to just talk about colors, look how dark and gloomy this is, and look how bright and abundant this one looks. Yes, fresh start, starting anew, but also look, it's just at the smaller stage. So like I said, I do feel like this is something that is very new. It is just starting to happen. It's just starting to, blossom, to bloom. But understand at the same time, when you think about, if we were going to talk about gardening, like with the picture, once you plant a seed today, doesn't mean necessarily tomorrow you're going to have a big old tree. No, it does take time for all those things to grow. There needs sunlight, it needs love, it needs water, it needs many, many things. We have here the Muse card coming out, and I feel like you're no longer having your focus on this situation anymore. You are going to start focusing on you. We have here the Dark Night of the Soul, the Mute card, and the Vibrations card coming through. This situation, maybe like every time you approached it, there was just lack of information, lack of communication, lack of insight. If this was a person, they didn't communicate exactly how they were feeling fully. They would ghost. They would maybe not talk about their feelings or give you bare minimum. When it comes to a career, it was like no matter how much time and effort you put in, you couldn't get past that level. It just wasn't enough. Other people were getting the opportunities. And this Dark Night of the Soul situation that happened, it came in very heavy because this shift and the change needed to happen. And I remember one time I had asked, why does changes have to be so intense? And I remember Spirit was like, if it wasn't loud enough for you to notice, you wouldn't have changed. If it wasn't so intense, you would have kept doing the same things. You would have kept being consistent with it. And it reminds me of this story I heard once where this neighbor was walking down the street, and it sees its neighbor sitting on the porch with this dog, and it notices the dog is laying on a nail. I don't know how it notices it, but whatever. And the neighbor goes to the other neighbor, and it's like, how come your dog is sitting on this nail? Like, why doesn't the dog just move? And the neighbor says it's because it hasn't bothered the dog enough. It's not in enough pain. It's not, it's just, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough. Now, if that nail was really doing a lot of harm to that dog, it would move. But when it's, sometimes we're in situations where it's just doing just a little bit, or I can weather through the storm, it's okay. We stay. We stay longer than we should have. When we don't realize that that first indication of that nail was your indication to move. But why do we have to wait for it to be so intense, where there's so much pain, or we're just at the wit's end before we make that movement? It happens. Sometimes we get caught up in things. Sometimes our ego and pride tells us to stay longer than we really should, you know, and that's okay. But I feel like you are no longer settling. You are no longer settling for this commitment, for this abundance, for this thing that you want to happen. There's a lot of shadow work. There's a lot of work that you're going through in order to get to this change, but you're heading to the birth of something new. And I love that this has come out, because in the beginning of the reading, you have your divine feminine energy in reverse, not giving yourself that nurturing, that love, that mother type of energy, that abundance, that beautiful energy. You weren't giving it to yourself, you were giving it to another. And what you're going to end off with, after this healing, after this journey, after this shift, and this new start, new energy comes through, this new abundance, you're going to be starting nurturing yourself. You're going to be choosing yourself more. You're going to be giving that cup of love that you've been giving to all these other things to yourself. And I love it. Okay, but it all starts with a healing journey, getting grounded, getting in solitude, really focusing on, why did I allow myself to maybe stay in a situation longer than I should have? We have here sacrifices. I love the colors on this card. We just have here green and kind of like, I want to say it's a dark green, almost black in the background. This is card number 52, and she's hugging herself. Ask yourself, when is the last time you hugged you? Or have you ever hugged you? And I know it can sound so silly, like, why would I hug myself? I cannot tell you. I remember, like, there's this one time I was helping someone that was going through some traumas, and I had realized that one of the big things was hugging was huge to them, and they would only hug when someone would give them a hug. They wouldn't ask for a hug. They just only would wait until someone would, give them a hug. And even to that, sometimes it was just a quick little 1-2 hug, not like a really big hug. And I told them, I'm like, right now, hug yourself. And when they did that, they had this huge release of this purging, crying energy. And it was crying of joy, because in that moment they realized that all this time they've been waiting for other people to hug them so they could have that love, when all they had to do was hug themselves to receive it. And it was just so beautiful. So let's read into the book with a sacrifice card. So the message it has here, it says, with great success often comes great sacrifice. It's essential that you remind yourself about what truly matters to you in life, such as your health, career, or loved ones. Place your attention on keeping those things safe and unafraid to sacrifice all else along your journey. Don't be afraid of this card. Sacrifices are more often than not a positive thing. When unnecessary elements of your life fall away, you can increase your effectiveness and focus on what truly matters to you. Sacrifice ultimately leads to you simplifying your life and making it to the next chapter. Just as a tree, oh my God, we were talking about a tree earlier. Anyways, just as a tree must sacrifice its leaves during autumn to conserve its energy, it's time for you to do the same and strip away the unnecessary. And the healing part of the card goes on to say, if you have attached issues or a hard time So if you have attachment issues or a hard time letting go of things in general, this card can feel very confronting and, in a way, maybe even threatening. You don't want to spread yourself too thin, but at the same time, you don't feel ready to let go of anything just yet. It's like standing in a closet full of things you never wear, but not wanting to get rid of any of the items. These things of attachment to the turmoil plane have become a social acceptable part of being human. However, remind yourself that any sacrifice you must make is only as big as you allowed it to be. And in some instances, you must be willing to take a financial hit to move forward. In other times, you might have to sacrifice all your free time to learn a new skill that will help you in the long run. Remind yourself of why you must make the sacrifice and what good can come of it. Make the process easy on yourself by allowing only supportive thoughts. No one ever wants to let go of things. No one ever wants to be rid of something, especially when you have that emotional attachment to it. But when it's no longer serving you, instead of that thing bringing in joy, it brings in a negative energy, whether we can see it or not. That whole time that that dog is sitting on that nail, yeah, it's not disrupting its life fully, but think about it. All that time it could be living in 100% happiness, it's allowing itself to be in only maybe say 80%. That 80% over 365 days a year, that's a long time. That's a long time to not be in 100% of abundance. And I know you can't necessarily have 100%, but if you could have the most high percentage, why not? Why not take that? And all it requires is you to sacrifice these things that no longer serve you. Take it, right? I know easier said than done, boo. I know. And I wish I could jump through this video and just hug you myself, but I can't. But what you can do is you can hug yourself. Remember, love yourself first. Give yourself patience and time through this new process. Let go of this lower vibrational energy that's no longer serving you, because at the end of the day, you're going to feel lighter, you're going to feel more abundant, and you're going to feel more free. You were not abandoned by this situation. You were given a lesson to love yourself more.